Here's a number that should stop every retailer who's considering launching an AI assistant cold. 70% of shoppers have experimented with AI tools to help them shop, yet less than 15% have used retailer AI shopping assistants. That gap shows where we are versus retailers might think that we are. In this episode, I'm going to share some new data from Acosta Group's shopper panel that shows how shoppers are actually using AI assistants, including Rufus and Sparky and some from category retailers that you may be less familiar with. Let's jump in. So this is shopper research conducted through Acosta Group's proprietary shopper community, and this cohort was surveyed in June of this year, over 1,000 shoppers in the US. And here are some snippets. Amazon's Rufus assistant, just 14% of shoppers have tried it. Walmart's Sparky, 15%. Super interesting. Slightly more usage of Walmart Sparky. Meanwhile, Kroger's Chefbot, which I'll admit I've never heard of, launched back in 2020, sits at just 5% usage, with 80% of shoppers having never heard of it. And so this is my first takeaway from this research and what I've been thinking about with AI shopping assistants is that the launch timing of these assistants has nothing to do with success. Another retailer, Ulta, has a tool called GLAMlab, which really was a pioneer in augmented reality try-on tech. And they launched this tool back in 2016. So, in other words, a million years ago. After nearly a decade live, only 9% of shoppers have used it and 73% have never heard of it. Compare that back to, again, Amazon's Rufus, which launched just last year and already exceeds GLAMlab's awareness levels. Now, these tools are really pretty cool. GLAMlab's AR capabilities overlay digital makeup with shade matching and personalization. And Chefbot, Kroger's tool, can identify 2,000 ingredients just from photos and suggest recipes from a 20,000 item database. Yet both lag behind simpler conversational assistants that launched just months ago. The front door always wins. Rufus and Sparky from Amazon and Walmart succeed in part because they're kind of unavoidable. You open the Amazon app to search for batteries, and Rufus sits right there at the bottom of your screen. Same with shopping on Walmart's app. Sparky was just added a couple of months ago to sit prominently in the main interface, right at the bottom of the screen there. You encounter them while you're doing what you came to do, which is shop. Kroger's Chefbot initially lived on Twitter. You had to know that it existed, leave your shopping context, tweet a photo, and wait for a response. Even after Kroger brought similar functionality into their app, people still see it as a peripheral tool. GLAMlab from Ulta faces the same problem. It's kind of buried within Ulta's app as a separate experience. You have to actively seek it out rather than kind of stumbling upon it during a normal browsing session. Instacart has Ask Instacart, which sits inside the app's search experience, but it isn't always the starting point for shoppers either. And that program's usage of 10% of the shopper cohort reflects that middling position. I think that the retailers that are getting this right here think less about showcasing AI as a widget and more about embedding it into existing search behaviors. Shoppers don't think in silos. They bounce between online and in-store without skipping a beat. Acosta Group's connected commerce agency helps brands unify trade and retail media budgets to invest where shoppers are most likely to convert, whether that's on mobile or in the store aisle. Learn more about Acosta Group connected commerce at acosta.group and let them know Retail Media Breakfast Club sent you. That's acosta.group. Group. But there's another dynamic at play, and it's a pretty big one. You've probably already had this thought in your head, which is reach. Amazon and Walmart touch every demographic, every category, multiple times per week. And so that frequency compounds awareness. A shopper might hit Amazon weekly, but maybe only Ulta monthly. And so those extra touch points really matter when you're trying to build new habits. These specialist category retailers face a choice. They can build a narrow, purpose-built tool that excels at a specific task like makeup try-on or recipe generation, or they could try and compete as general shopping concierges despite operating in a specific domain. To me, the answer is obvious. Category retailers should focus on specialization. As I've talked about before, consumers are going to prefer to use their own personal AI agents that know their full shopping history across all retailers, know their preferences, and in that world, a tool that does something that ChatGPT can't, like really great augmented reality try-on experiences, is going to work better than yet another general assistant with limited context about each user. So let's talk about what retailers need to accept and what brands should prepare for. So for retailers, the first thing is awareness is your biggest enemy, not competition. Even tools that have existed for years stay unknown to most of these shoppers. If people don't know your AI tool exists, more years in market won't necessarily save you. Second, placement is super important. If the assistant is buried in the interface, consumers are not going to find it and try it out. And third, you can't sit on the fence. Either commit to creating a unique tool that owns a very specific use case, or go all in on interfacing with consumer-facing AI agents and being involved in that future shopping revolution. The middle ground, which to me is launching a ineffective, annoying chatbot on your retailer.com, is just going to tick shoppers off. Now, what should brands prepare for? This fragmented landscape creates new challenges for brands. Each retailer's AI demands different content formats and optimization strategies. Natural language queries like best shampoo for oily hair under $15 are going to replace keyword searches. And the brands that invest early in structured, AI-ready product data that's syndicated across all of their retailer partners are going to shape what these assistants recommend. And yes, advertising will follow. As these assistants gain trust, expect sponsored recommendations to show up within their suggestions. In terms of the hype cycle with AI-enabled shopping, it's still early days. There's a huge gap between general AI usage at 70% and retailer AI assistant adoption at 15%. And that delta represents both the challenge and the opportunity today. The race centers on who can make their assistant an invisible but essential part of how people already shop. The winners will be the ones whose customers don't realize they're using AI at all.